All right, good. Because yeah, a lot of students are in the midst of trying to make that decision, and at 18 years old, they're just not prepared to make that decision, and it might not be for a few years. So,
Hmm.
I know a lot of students enter college as an undeclared major. And what are some of the pros and cons that you see of entering as undeclared or undecided? Um,
Yeah. You know what, to be so I was sitting there, I was thinking about the cons. The only con I would see with students not maybe entering as the undeclared would be their money, like money and them being diligent and not wasting the explorative time that they're given as a freshman, and if they decide to, go another semester as a sophomore to explore those would be it's like you don't want to wait so long that the major you choose requires for you to take classes that were only offered a certain time, of year. And so you're spending money now on an extra semester of school, or you're taking summer classes. And so you better talk to your parents first, because then it may not be your money you're spending, So the con would be for the student and their parents, right? If they're not being intentional and diligent in really seeking out help to decide a major. And then again, it's like you said it earlier. They're 18-year-old students, and so they out here trying to enjoy college life too. So some of them is like, they're not making it a priority. And so the con would be if you're coming into college and you making friends and you going to outings and you trying to have a good time and you're not making the important things important, right? Then you're wasting time. And so those would probably be the cons that really stand out to me the most. The pro would be that the time is needed, if they're spending it wisely to explore, take that time. Even when a student may come see me in their freshman year, I do see a lot of undeclared students as freshmen. What I do is I say, hey, we're going to take this assessment. They take the Strong's inventory assessment, take some spiritual gifts assessment, and then we look over the results, and I say, hey, we've learned a lot about you today, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to spend more time reflecting. I want you to, if there's certain majors that are coming across to us that would be very fitting, for who you are and what you're discerning you would like to do in the future, I want you to go meet with this professor or that professor, right? Let's do these additional things beforehand. I want you to go pray about it too. I don't want you to be compelled by the pressure of making a decision on a major. I want you to be compelled by the fact that you've done everything you need to do to make a well-informed and wise decision about a major, right? And so, that's what I would say on those
yeah.
pros and cons.
Okay. Is there a certain point where students need to declare a major, or you would advise by this time, you're really going to start wasting some time or resources if you haven't declared?
Yeah. So students have until their sophomore year. So they have about 3-4 semesters, to make a decision. My encouragement, I try to encourage you because I'm thinking about again the other, like the money and the fact that they're 18 and 19, coming into college, and how easy it is to get so caught up in what you want to do and not doing what you need to do. And so I try to say, I tend to find myself, encouraging them to say, hey, take this first semester and even in the second semester to explore, to get settled into college life, but also be diligent. And hopefully by the end of your freshman year, you can make a decision in your major. And with our students, and again, what we have our undeclared major, advisor, she does a really good job of staying in touch with them and getting them to do the things they should do and what they're not being accountable for doing. And so we tend to have a good turnover with our students having majors by the end of their freshman year, or at least the end of their first semester of their sophomore year.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
there any harm to the student as they're applying to either JBU or other universities, and applying as undeclared?
Mhm.
Is there a chance that they might not get accepted as readily, or if they had a declared major?
No, not at all. And we the way we're set up, we are set up for students to come in, undeclared, and because we see the value. We don't, I know for myself too. I don't want students coming in feeling forced to have to make a decision just to get into a place. It's I think we have or the way our environment is set up is very, we want students to explore and to get settled into a new environment, to get settled into the college life. I think the pressure comes when I think, many people don't tell tell their, I don't think we hear a lot about students telling their stories after college about maybe how they came into college and how, although I came in with this degree or I want to do this major, I ended up doing something over here. I think if students were hearing a lot more of those stories, they would almost feel a little sense of, okay, it's okay if I don't know what I want to do. And so what I tend to do is I share my story, is I came in, I was like, because I felt the pressure too. Like I felt a little bit of that pressure. I was first generation college student. I hadn't really assessed what I wanted to do. I knew I liked people, and I'm sure you could say the same thing. But I just want students to know that they can be okay, not knowing today what they might want to major in, and even when they do choose a major, that God works in those details, and He'll make sure you're ready and prepared as you remain faithful to the journey too.
Mhm.